decided that the next major section of work would deal with identity. Identity as a hybrid form of becoming in South Africa, where we've come from different backgrounds and we're now trying to emerge as a new animal, that thing that is the contemporary South African. So we bring a little bit of our past and we bring a little bit of the future and we bring a little bit from other people and we meld them together and we make this new thing. So for example, Mary Sibanda, one of our ex-students and now a household name being represented all over the world. And this work's called I Put a Spell on Me. And it shows Sophie, who is the archetype of the maid from the old colonial times through the apartheid era. And Sophie was the maid who, while cleaning, would go off on this little vision in her head. And slowly, the sculptures of Sophie became the actual image of Mary Sibanda. And in this particular piece, it pays homage to the kind of religious aspirations through the ZCC clothing and reaching out for something else, a new form of identity. One of the works that had a very great impact on the Americans was Justin Lingwall's series here. He often works with this model, and he uses her as an albino model to talk about notions of beauty. Because most often within African tradition, albino people are shunned, they're put in the background, they're rejected, they have another kind of otherness, which people find frightening. And yet in Justin's work, he makes her extol the beauty that she has as a human being and as a woman. So I selected this one, which reminded one of the traditional Madonna figure, the veiled Madonna. And then I selected the two other images on the side. One of her with no gaze at all, almost blocking you as the viewer out in case you might criticize. And then on the other side, she takes in and looks almost arrogantly or defiantly at you, the viewer, to say, yes, I'm real, I'm human, I'm that person. So take me in, because I'm taking you in. And that's one of those traditional things within art history, the gaze of the sitter and the gaze of the viewer, and what kind of interaction there is. And I think it makes an incredibly tight little triptych image. There are artificial constructs to making identity, and they are what make up the bigger part of this melting pot of South Africa. I included Jaina Mystery's work below because she brings another kind of element, the Indian identity, the Hindu identity, into our South African melting pot. Andrew Putter's works are quite interesting because if I had to ask you, if you look at that, what do you think you're looking at? What do they remind you of? Yes, ethnographic photography. You know, when you would go to a place and they say, well, this is a Zulu maid because she looks like this, and this is a Xhosa maid. In actual fact, what you're looking at are young, urban people from Cape Town. But they're dressed up in a particular way that you think you're looking at an ethnographic study, but in fact, they're not. None of these people come from the rural areas at all.